up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have some Detroit Lions news, and I think this is some pretty big news because the Lions may have just announced their favorite for the head coaching position. Also, the Lions canceled the interview today, so this could be legit. Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube, and guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
And welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And today we got some big Detroit Lions news. And this was reported by Ian Rappaport. Is that not is that his name, Ian Rappaport? Ian Schefter? No, that's Adam Schefter. Ian Rappaport. That's his name. It's a great name. Is that not a great name for him? Like, I don't know if you guys have thought about that or not. I thought about it so many times. Like, Ian Rappaport. Like, did they know when he was born, hey, look, this is a perfect last name because you're gonna be an NFL reporter. Maybe we should change his last name to Report. I'm just saying. It's a perfect name. Don't know why we're talking about that. Let's talk about the report that Ian Rappaport gave us, though. He said this: the Lions' favorite right now for the head coaching position, from what our sources have told us, is Dan Campbell. Also today, the Lions canceled the interview with Todd, which was supposed to be his first interview, the DC for the Buccaneers, because he wasn't going to get the head coach job anyway. What that tells me, straight up, boom, flat out, if he's not going to get the job, so we're not even going to spend our time interviewing you, that tells me the Lions got a very short list, and Dan Campbell probably is one of those names because that's what we've been reported. But the Lions got a short list, and they know who they're targeting now. I'm hoping they have some backup options, but the thing is with Dan Campbell, and this is why it's kind of strange not to interview him, because here's where I'm a little bit confused personally. If your guy is Dan Campbell, right, the Lions can't hire this guy until the Saints are out of the playoffs, because right now they're in the playoffs. He's working for the Saints. So what I'm wondering, he's only had one interview, so I'm wondering if the Lions would need a second one or not with him. But what I'm wondering is, why would you not have the interview with Todd Bowles, at least just to see? I mean, maybe it's just like, nope, this is Dan Campbell. We're just going to sit here and wait. We're going to sit back and wait. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a shorter list and they'd rather spend the time interviewing other guys. I don't really know. But I do know that Dan Campbell reportedly is someone that's their favorite for the head coaching position. I would have thought you'd at least interview Todd Bowles, because you can't go hire Dan Campbell tomorrow anyways. You got to wait till they're out of the playoffs, and who knows how long that's going to be. The Lions canceling that interview, I have to believe that I would not be shocked still if the Lions made some sort of surprise move, head coaching position soon that we're not really hearing about a lot, that maybe isn't out there right now as a report or a rumor. Because of the fact that they decided to cancel that, they may have someone else that we're just not knowing about right now. Someone that's kind of going under the radar. The Lions are trying to keep quiet because they don't want other teams to know about it, but someone else out there. I'm just saying, okay, there's could be that other move. I do believe that, based on what we're about to talk about, Dan Campbell is probably their favorite. But there could be that move that we're not hearing about that happens relatively soon. All right, so let's get into this video. Let's talk about some Dan Campbell. So that part's a little bit confusing to me. But if it is Dan Campbell, who is Dan Campbell? What's he about? Now, we've talked about Dan Campbell a lot, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. But again, for anybody that doesn't know about Dan Campbell, let's do a little bit of a background check on who Dan Campbell is. So he is a former NFL tight end. He did play with the Detroit Lions. I think that's important that he played with the Detroit Lions. Just before Matthew Stafford was drafted, he was a tight end for the Detroit Lions. Known as a blocking tight end, but he has those ties back with the organization. Then in the NFL, he got started as an assistant tight end coach, worked his way to the tight end coach for the Miami Dolphins, and when their head coach was fired in 2015 after a 1-3 start, they decided to promote Dan Campbell to the head coaching position for the last 12 games. So he became their interim head coach, kind of what the Lions did this season. But he had 12 games with them. Now, again, this isn't his team. He's just trying to get them through the year. But I think the way he handled himself is what the Detroit Lions really like here. They finished 5-7. They won their first two games. Unfortunately, they finished 3-7 after winning the first two as he took over. On the season as a team, they were 3-1 against playoff teams, 3-9 against non-playoff teams. Tannehill had his career best in passing yards, and they were outscored 96-47 in the first quarter. So just a couple of notes from that season. But they finished at 6-10. They were only projected 5 wins. It wasn't that great of a team. But he took over. And one of my concerns was, okay, look, this guy is known to be an aggressive, really up-tempo, competitive coach, where some of the quotes that we're given from guys like Sean Payton is like, hey, he's still the same guy. He's still the same coach that he was as a player. He's that same guy. He brings that same mentality, that same attitude to being a head coach that he was as a player. Some people say this guy looks like he could still play. All right, now that I know why Chris Spielman likes this guy, okay? Like, Chris Spielman said he's looking for a few things. He's looking for a leader, culture, and he's looking, obviously, for someone that's friendly. Leader, culture, and someone that demands respect. That's what Barry Sanders told us they were looking for. Dan Campbell is going to check all of those boxes for Chris Spielman and for the Detroit Lions. So I could definitely see this being their top candidate and this report being very legit. After Dan Campbell took over as the interim head coach, he then went to New Orleans, and he is right now their assistant head coach right away. Their assistant head coach and their tight end coach. And what Sean Payton has said is that he tried to hire him multiple times and he finally got the opportunity to, so he's super glad. So he's been working with Sean Payton as an assistant head coach, learning from him, which is great because it's not all hands-on experience, but it's about as close as you can get. Plus, he's working with the tight ends. He's done some big things with guys like Jared Cook, and we know the Lions have TJ Hockenson, Jesse James, Hunter Bryant. He could help those guys out as well, those young guys, and help them be a big part of this offense. So he does have some interim head coach experience. He also has some experience working with Sean Payton, about as close as you can get to that position. This quote to me right here is exactly why I think it's important to have some experience in the NFL as a head coach. Now, there are still some things that he is missing as when it comes to being a head coach, but this quote right here, things like seating chart on a plane, things popping up all the time. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. That's exactly the case, man. Can you remember Patricia? Man, I'm trying to figure out how to set up practice. Like, what? Like, these are issues? That's why I think it's great that he at least has some of that under his belt. All right, some of it. Still some things that he's lacking, and we'll get to that. But he has some of it under his belt. I do like that. And now players, they have responded extremely well, at least from what they said. After the season was over and they beat the Patriots, who were 12-4 that season and made the playoffs, they finished 6-10. Apparently, it broke out in the locker room a chant, Campbell, Campbell, Campbell. That's who they wanted back. He didn't come back. Not many teams show that much NFL interest after that season for him to be an ex-head coach. But then you get quotes from the Saints right now, like their tackle, Armstead, who says this: Campbell is one of those guys you will run through a brick wall through. It's the personality, it's the behavioral traits that I know the Detroit Lions are looking for here. I absolutely know that's what the Lions are looking at here, and I completely believe that this is their favorite head coaching candidate. Would not surprise me whatsoever. He's only 44 years old, which means you would have a 44-year-old head coach and a 41-year-old general manager. Two young guys, somewhat inexperienced, so it's going to be interesting to say the least. But it should be entertaining. If that's the match, it should be entertaining. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too. Wait, what about Matthew Stafford? What's going on there? What would their plans be? Well, here's what Barry Sanders told us just less than a day ago. He told us this: Matthew Stafford is planning on returning for 2021. He is still playing at a high level. Barry Sanders tells us that Matthew Stafford's set to return to the Detroit Lions in 2021, which to me, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I'm like, thank goodness. So that's a great thing to see, and that Barry Sanders saying that, because right now Barry Sanders is also helping advise the Detroit Lions to make their next coaching and GM hirings. So I'm sure that's something that's brought up within interviews, and if there was talk that, hey, he's not going to be brought back and these are favorites, I'm sure Barry Sanders would say, well, yeah, he's planning to be brought back, right? So it looks like Matthew will be brought back with these guys. And I think that's helpful because, again, it's what a lot of DCs and a lot of unexperienced guys do, is they like to keep what's there intact, at least what's working well, because they don't want to mess with that. You know, you don't want to mess with that right away because you're still trying to figure out things. But at least he does have some experience, a little bit more than Darrell Bevell has. But I think also working with Sean Payton is a huge benefit towards him. Players speak very highly of him. There's not a ton on his resume to look at, but I can tell you this: when it comes to his personality, what they are looking for, what Detroit is looking for, I actually know what Chris Spielman is looking for this guy, and he is heading the Lions head coaching search. So if the Lions do hire Dan Campbell, it would not be a shock. Right now, without Robert Saleh, he is who I'm predicting will be the Lions' next head coach. Now, that's an easy prediction because the Lions already said that now because the reports are out there, he's the favorite. But I would definitely say this is probably my prediction for who will be the Lions' next head coach. Now, there may be other guys on the list. I would say you should always have backup options. To me, it's still kind of strange that they did not have an interview with Todd Bowles. But, hey, look, I guess if you already know, as soon as the season ends, Dan Campbell, you're our guy. We've talked to you once in an interview. Campbell, we're setting this thing up. They were impressed the first time. Look, as soon as your season's over, you get your butt over here because you're going to be the Lions' next head coach. And you know what? The Lions can be okay with that. So we might be waiting a little bit to have the official hiring. Now, they're also just a report, so it may not be true. We've seen reports come out, and then it comes back that, oh, it didn't happen. Arthur Smith. Both sides have to agree. So you have to have backup options. The Lions need to make sure they have backup options that are out there, because if this doesn't happen, they need to make sure they have backup options. But according to reports, this is who their favorite is. I completely believe it, especially after they canceled the interview with Todd Bowles. But we will see. I don't know. To me, the Todd Bowles thing is still strange. I still would have thought, why would you not interview the guy? I mean, you don't have to hire him, but I guess if you just really know that you're going to hire Dan Campbell, then that's it. Or if there's someone else out there that we're not being told about that the Lions are also very interested in, so that guy may get the job. We may be surprised by it. The biggest questions that I would have, let's say Dan Campbell's their next head coach, and we have Brad Holmes. Neither of these guys have hired anybody. Now, Mike Disner would help out, I'm sure. Neither of these guys have hired anybody, right? That's what's a little bit concerning to me personally. Now, with that in mind, I don't think Dan Campbell would be the guy calling plays on offense. Now, sometimes you can hire an offense coordinator either way, but I also don't believe he'd be calling plays offensively. You'd be looking at him hiring an offense coordinator. Could that mean that Bevell potentially stays here? If they get along, could that mean Bevel stays here? I mean, I could absolutely see that. If Bevel's willing to stay here as an offensive coordinator, if he doesn't think he'll get that many looks as an OC elsewhere, is there a chance that he'd be willing to stay here and work? Because I could definitely see them keeping them intact. Also, he would have to hire a defensive guy. He doesn't have a defensive background, which can be a little bit concerning because you got a guy with no defensive background that's never hired anybody before at head coach and GM. So I don't think it would be Unlin, but you could be looking at him trying to hire somebody else. Who would that be? Special teams coach needs someone high. So that's the biggest question that I have personally. Yes, he has the experience as a head coach, controlling a team, running a team, but he doesn't have the experience building a team, hiring people, managing new attitudes, everybody coming in and out, negotiating. He doesn't have that, right? He doesn't have that experience. The things that I love the most about him is that he was one of those guys that were not afraid, like he said, when they were playing bad, he was not afraid to take away veteran snaps and give it to the young guys because those guys weren't playing well enough. And at 5-8, what they were at the time was not good enough. And I kind of like I like that. There needs to be, to me, there has to be certain consequences when they don't play well, because if not, the guys sometimes maybe they get out of it a little bit and they don't really care. They're kind of just, oh, we're just kind of going through the motions. Like once you sit a vet down, they're like, oh snap, hold up, I'm not playing. Like, yeah, I'm getting my money, but I'm not playing. That's not right. This is not right. That young dude's playing in front of me. So I thought that was a very interesting tone setter. And that to me just sounds like Chris Spielman. Does that not sound like Chris to you? But it's not a done deal yet. All right, keep that. It's not a done deal. They're a favorite right now, according to reports. We've had reports that Arthur Smith. We've had reports that, so many reports that Robert Saleh is going to be the Lions head coach. Those things didn't happen. All right, so reports are reports. Rumors are rumors. But right now, he is reportedly the favorite. I believe it. However, I think the Lions are going to have some backup options. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How would you feel about Dan Campbell? If you want to know more about him, we do have some more videos about him. But yeah, I guess I'll leave it right there. It would be interesting to say the least. Let me know your thoughts, guys, below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out.